Hey, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. It's Harry Field from Hasbro TV back on a match reaction video. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Dortmund nil. Not a result I expected to be saying, if I'm honest. Considering our league form, we've only won 4 home games in 25, 4 of our last 25 home games now in all competitions. But this one was probably a very significant one. Let's get into it first in the starting lineup, which was for once quite interesting considering suspensions and a ton of injuries. I mean, the bench we had was just. I think I recognised two, maybe four at most of the players. The rest were kids. That's how bad it was. So let's get into it. So the back line was Vicario, who touch wood's not got injured yet. Romero and Danso. Van der Ven is suspended. That's why he wasn't playing. And then Udogie returned at left back. If I'm honest, I don't know how much football he's played since he's come back. But it was nice to see him there. And Porro right back, he's one of the mainstays actually this season, who's not really been rested. But we'll talk about it in a little bit. And the midfield was Bergvall and Gray. At that point, we had no other options. But Spence played on the left wing, which was very interesting. And Odegaard was on the right. Xavi was in the 10. And Solanke made his first start in God knows how long for Spurs. And he probably was one of the most important players, I thought. Let's get into the game. Spurs started well for once in a very, very long time. And got the first goal through not exactly a set piece, but the ball went in. Ball came back out. Odegaard tried to volley it. Didn't really hit it very well. He completely messed it up. And then on the second attempt, crossed the ball in and Romero puts it past the keeper. Brilliant start. And we just kept coming at them. I mean, Porro was getting joy on the right, along with Odegaard, who got 2 assists in the end. But Odegaard was man of the match. Solanke, there was a massive difference. Having an actual presence up front was very key. I mean, when Mwani came on late on, he did absolutely nothing. And the attitude he had was really, really, really bad. He clearly doesn't want to play for Spurs. But Solanke, completely opposite. He gave it all. He gave it everything. And his pressing was really, really, really good. On the left, surprisingly, Spence was really, really good at left wing. And the advantage of playing Spence on the left, along with Udogie, was when Adeyemi had the ball, Spence and Udogie could double up on him, which I thought was a great choice by Frank. We defended it in a back five, basically a 5-3-2, if you were to kind of think about it, the way we kind of defended in that shape. And then you had the attack was more of like a 4-2-3-1. So Spence would tuck in and drop back when we didn't have the ball into a 5, and then we would play with Spence as a winger essentially when we attacked. In the first half, we got tons of joy. We were shooting, loads and loads of joy. And of course, Dortmund got a red card. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know how much of a red card it is or how soft it was. But obviously that helped. And Spurs got the second goal just before half-time from Solanke. Another Odegaard assist. Probably one of the most jammiest goals you'll see, though. It hits both Solanke's legs, hits the post and goes in. But the crossing was really, really good once it went down to 10 men. And the second goal killed them off, at least in the first half. But the second half started. Dortmund made 2-4 changes. I can't remember, they made these were their subs in the end, but they made a lot of changes. And it did make a difference. Dortmund having 10 men, they did put pressure on Spurs. I don't remember Vicario making a save till the last maybe 10 minutes. So Spurs kind of kept that at bay, to be fair, but we did take the foot off the gas. Maybe because we played so many games and we just don't have many very players. So maybe he told them, try and just keep the ball and just don't overexert yourselves. But sadly, Bergvall went off. So we ended up with Porro in midfield. So they got another problem now. I mean, at least we signed Gallagher, so in the Premier League, Gallagher can play there. And then Byfield came on at right back. And I thought, considering the circumstances, I thought he did pretty well. He's been on the bench for a while, Byfield. And I guess we'll see how it goes, really. But he looked tall, strong, and maybe he could play in defence for us. I mean, the way it's going, we're not going to have many players. But also, we need to go out and sign some players now because, we've got other injuries. Bergvall going down is a massive miss because now you just have Gray and Gallagher again, and you don't even have that Bergvall option off the bench, let alone starting. So we're thin on numbers, and we've got Burnley away next, which is a must win as well, just to kind of just make sure we don't get pulled into that relegation scrap. Because the more games we lose, and if West Ham go on the run, and Forest are only 5 points as well behind us, could be problems. But in the Champions League, we're sitting fourth. Okay, there's gonna be games today or tomorrow, depending on what day you watch this, and it might push Spurs outside the top eight. I don't know. It depends on the scores. But if we go away and win at Frankfurt, I think most likely we'll be in the top eight. Most likely. I don't know how, I'm not 100% sure, but it's a very good chance that we go and win away to Frankfurt, we'll finish in the top eight, which means we can skip that qualifying round in February. And everyone knows our February fixtures. Frank lives another day. Is this a turning point? Put in the comments whether you think this is a turning point, because we've said this a lot of times. This game was significant to me was the fact that we beat a team that only lost twice all season. And it was at home as well. I mean, normally for most teams that's like not really that achievement to win at home, but for us this season it's been a massive. So hopefully we can take our European form into the Premier League. One thing I want to note before I end though is Xavi. Now he was trying stuff again tonight, but I don't think he would. Nothing really comes off for him. I don't know what the problem is with Xavi. Like, he tries things, but his decision making is very bad. Like, it's not very good. He either holds onto the ball too long or doesn't release it correctly. Like, we had a lot of breakaways where Xavi had the ball, and I'm like, play it to the right or play it to the left. Like, when certain players are like more open, and he would make the wrong decision. So far for me, Xavi's been quite disappointing. But he is only 22, so maybe in the future he'll get better. But another thing people theorize is the fact that we're in Europe, so because our players are not like physically as good as say like the Newcastle midfielders, maybe we'll get more joy in Europe because it's more technical. So our players kind of get away with not being as strong, and maybe that's why Xavi looked a bit better. Not that much better, but he did look a bit better. Anyways, and come on, you Spurs.